This is Mark Sims, everybody. Just a few questions. Sergio Mims is back for part 3. He is the co-founder of the Black Harvest Film Festival here in Chicago. And I have to ask Sergio, since you've watched so many movies over the past 25 years for the Black Harvest Film Festival, you would consider yourself a movie critic, right?
Well, I have written reviews. There was one time I wrote a lot of reviews for different publications. I don't write that many reviews anymore. Not write, but I do. There is a podcast. Actually, there are 2 podcasts. Let me rephrase that. There is a podcast that I do called Movie Madness on the Now Playing Network, in which I discuss movies, critique films, older films. I do that at least 3 times a month. And then there's my radio show. But one thing I do on my radio show, which is every Tuesday on WHPK, but at least once a month I do my Bad Mother film show, in which I discuss for 3 hours with my guest, Eric Childress, movies, current films, old films, films coming out, the film business. So yes, I still review films. It may not be in print, but definitely with this new media landscape we're in now, there are other avenues now to give my opinion on movies.
Wow, because I'm surprised. You're so good on Ben Dravarsky's show that I'm surprised other radio stations, really like, the major stations here, haven't asked you to do movie reviews.
I know they have.
Wow.
But, I'm always open for that. But once again, the media has changed. There used to be a time when film critics were important to news shows, but now there's so many podcasts, video shows that do the same thing, and just concentrating on that, local stations don't feel the need for it anymore, which is fine with me because that gives us, people who are really into film, more time and more opportunity to talk about movies instead of trying to reduce something down to a 2.5-minute soundbite.
I'm not going to tell you one of my best, my favorite movies, but as we end this podcast, this segment, and the final segment, Sergio, give us a few movies that Sergio Mims loves so much. What are your favorite movies? Just a few.
I'll give you 2 right now off the top of my head. One is, I guess, a film that people don't know about, but it's so brilliant, and I call it maybe the most revolutionary film ever made, and that's The Battle of Algiers by Credo Pontecorvo, which came out in 1965, 66, and it's a docudrama done in documentary style, but it's totally recreated about the beginning of the Algerian independence movement against France, and it's remarkable. It's a movie that's anti-colonialist. It's a movie that, and by the way, this movie doesn't shy away from the ugliness. Both the Algerians and the French committed horrible terrorist acts, which are recreated in the film. As a matter of fact, during the first Gulf War, the United States government showed this film to military officials. The U.S. military showed this to their top brass to show them what could possibly happen if they invaded Iraq.
Wow.
It's a remarkable picture. It's available on DVD. It's available on Blu-ray. He used to show the film on PBS.
Wow.
The other film, which I'm sure everybody's heard of, is Lawrence of Arabia. And Lawrence of Arabia, once again, tied in to Battle of Algiers, is a movie that's terribly misunderstood because people see the film and they think that, it's this movie about this white guy who came to Arabia and tried to do right. No, it's a movie about the folly of that attitude. And it shows how the major powers, particularly Britain and France, conspired to dominate the whole Middle East after World War I. All they needed was a patsy, and the patsy was Lawrence of Arabia.
Wow. I've seen bits and pieces.
And at the end of the movie, which is this great scene when Peter O'Toole...
You're not gonna, this is not going to give it away, is it?
No.
Okay,
Everybody's seen the picture. No.
Okay, all right.
But at the end, the last scene is that he's being driven away. He's leaving Arabia for good, and he's going down this dusty road, and the dust is covering his face, and it's like all his dreams have turned to dust, and like he thinks his dream to unite the Arab world has fallen into dust, when actually what has happened is that Britain and France has come over, and now they're carving up the whole empire. It was Britain that created Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
They just took a section, Arabia, and they weren't even thinking about the different tribes or different cultures. They just cut a chunk out and said, okay, that's Iraq.
I thought you was going to mention the movie, the one you on Ben Javarsky's show, Mr. Javarsky. You mentioned Three the Hard Way. What's the name of that movie you always mention?
Oh, Three the Hard Way? God, I love that.
No, was that the movie you always talk about? The one they was poisoning the water for black folks? What movie?
Yeah, Three the Hard Way.
Three the Hard Way. So why is that so good?
Blaxploitation film with Jim Brown, Jim Kelly, and Fred Williamson. This movie came out in 1974, and it's about three black guys, one in Chicago, one in L.A., one in New York, who find out that this crazy, insane, white supremacist multimillionaire has hired this scientist to come up with a plan to kill all the black people in the United States. And the scientist has created this chemical, which put into the country's water supply would give all black people sickle cell anemia, but it won't affect white people.
Of course.
Now, and of course, these three guys find out, and they put an end to that plan. Now, the thing about it was that, a couple of years ago, I wrote about that movie, and the comments were, "This is stupid. This is crazy. This is idiotic." People said it was stupid. Okay. Just after Trump got elected, I republished the article again, and people just like, "Oh my God, when was this movie made?" So it was made yesterday.
Of course, it was made 40 years ago.
It was made in 1974. You dope. 45 years ago. 45. That movie came out 45 years ago. You dope. And you're talking like this is brand new, like you never heard anything like this. Everything old is new again.
No, it's human beings. That's what we're talking about. If I've seen bits and pieces of that movie, I can't remember. I have to go find Three the Hard Way, and the Battle of our Algiers, and the Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia is like 3 hours long, ain't it?
It's closer to 4 hours.
Oh, I knew it. That's why I've seen bits and pieces. Oh my God. Maybe one day I need to take a nap. I'll put it on. Sergio, I can talk to you forever. So we have to do this in a month or two. We got to talk again, okay?
Very good.
And I'm gonna ask Benny J maybe today to have you and me on the same show soon.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll talk about that.
We got to. All right, Sergio, talk to you soon. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.